Good morning, everyone. I am EstaRa April, and it's like first thing in the morning. I just woke up and I had lots of things come to me throughout the night, and I guess I want to share with you what what's been coming and what I'm feeling, and this is all with regard to love on our planet. And I just got over crying for about a half hour, 45 minutes. Tears of pain, tears of joy, tears of sadness, tears of grief, tears of frustration, and um, even trauma. It has been a couple weeks now since I've been back from Philadelphia. Actually, I don't think it's been a couple weeks, or maybe it has. I can't even tell, to be honest with you. Time is such a weird it's a weird thing, and I can tell you in a second what it's been. It's crazy to say that. Oh yeah, it's been about a week. It's been about a week since I've been back, but it feels like it's been longer. So I went to Philadelphia for Lightworkers for Bernie. I started the group back in October 2015. I was awakened every single night for about 3 weeks straight at 3 o'clock in the morning with messages about creating this group and putting out a message through my business, actually, and through who I am. And so I started that back in October, and I didn't know how it would turn out or what it would be. And actually, to be honest with you, I was resisting quite a bit because my background and my past is politics. I have a degree in political science and public administration, and I did work at the Capitol here in Connecticut, and I did campaign work. I don't want to ramble on about my what I did in the past, but the reality is I have a background in politics, and when I left because I didn't want to be part of it anymore. I That's when money was really getting dumped into politics, and people were. It was still kind of a old boys network. Of course, it still kind of is. We just have females in our government and in our political organizations that are still like acting as if it is an old boys network and trying to fit into that category and carrying out that way. It's not all females, and I don't mean that to be all, but I, I left it and I wanted no part of it whatsoever. I didn't want to know anymore. I was done. It was very toxic to me being an empath and being someone whose vision is actually quite similar to Bernie Sanders, and that is actually why I got pulled back in because when I started to listen to Bernie speak in September, I thought, wow, the way he talks is why I got into politics. That's the reason I went into government in the first place. I wanted to make it a better world for all of us. And I'm like emotional thinking about it. And I was so disillusioned when I was younger, and hearing him speak back in September and even some stuff in August, it was like powerful and amazing. And then when I was awakened every night, which, by the way, if you know how my life works, that is kind of normal for my guides to awaken me in the middle of the night to tell me messages and give me very clear guidance as to what to do and how to go forward. When that happened in October, I was like, "What are you doing?" I felt like I was in an old Godfather movie where Michael Corleone was trying to pull away, and he said, "I leave," and then they pull me back in, and I feel like the same thing happened with me. And I questioned it. I was like, "What the heck?" And I realized, oh my God, this is why my background is what it is. This is part of my mission too. Yes, I'm a healer. I am an intuitive. I am a teacher, and I love what I do for work. But I also loved being part of the thought of making changes on our planet in a different way, and um, all of that is who I am. And so I created the group, and it was really small at the beginning, and it got bigger and bigger. And I'm so grateful and blessed. We're almost at 900 members, and actually, there's quite a few that recently wanted to add themselves to join, and I apologize to those of you who are on that list. I haven't gone through it yet to see if it's legitimate people wanting to join us or if it's fake names being created. So if you are on that list, you can always send me a private message through Facebook and tell me why you want to be part of the Lightworkers for Bernie group. Anyway, I digress. Um, so the group got really big and it was filled with love and light and hope and faith and trust and truth. And that is beautiful in and of itself and powerful. And I kept getting the message I needed to go to Philadelphia. I needed to get there. I needed to do work there. I needed to bring energy there. And if you follow my blogs and you follow some of my information, you'll understand why I was in Philadelphia back in 2012 doing some work there, doing some healing and energetic light work for not only Philadelphia, but actually for our country and government. So yeah, I've never been far from government apparently. Forget about those little things. And so when I was getting told I needed to go to Philadelphia, I was freaking out because I didn't have the funds, and I'm grateful to the people in my group that did fundraise and helped and assist me and a few other light workers to get there. And I don't know, it's taking me a week to digest a lot that's happened, and I'd like to write about it, but I've been having weird computer problems, and so far recording videos has been a little easier, so that's why I'm doing this. I arrived in Philadelphia on July 22nd. I was guided to go there early before everything started. And I didn't really know. So the way my guides work is, as they tell me, it's on a need to know basis. And you just don't really need to know. And so they don't actually tell me anything until it is time for me to step into it or I'm actually there. And then they start downloading information fast and furious. And it starts coming usually a day or two before, and I was getting lots of information about where we were supposed to go. And I have to tell you, it's really interesting. The people that I traveled with, I kept saying they really needed to ground. Like that's a huge deal. Grounding is really important, and I can go into a whole bunch of information about why grounding is so important. But if you're interested in that, please contact me and I'll tell you. But one of the main reasons is to circumvent and prevent the darker energies from getting involved and interfering. So I got there early and I didn't really know why, but the weird thing was I got there early, a day early, but I didn't get there as early as I intended. And one of the things that was very frustrating is I don't think everybody on the trip with me was grounded and anchored. And I know for me, I was much more grounded and anchored, but that is because I work at that every day and I work at it a few times a day. And I wasn't as grounded as I probably normally am because I was downloading, like information was downloading in me, like just constant in the different dimensions the whole day. And so on travel, I wasn't actually a great navigator in terms of paying attention because my energy was like in this different space. Plus, I had 2 hours of sleep. So, when we got there, when we finally did arrive, I met some fabulous people. And, my guys were very clear. We needed to be at FDR Park and Wells Fargo Center. So I took a group of people with me and we did some beautiful connection with one another and with the earth there because part of the whole journey of what's happening now in our world and it's not just government related, it's global and it's planet related. And so we connected with some energies there. People had some cool experiences with the trees, but I started channeling what our job was and what we needed to do. So one of the things was to anchor love and light into FDR Park because so many people would be there, and I created the intention that the light workers can go there for rejuvenation and recharge and to connect with each other. So that was something that I placed out there for, a couple weeks before, actually weeks before. And I had some really great instrumental people in Philadelphia helping me. She's this one woman, particularly Joyce, has been phenomenal at helping me. And while she might not do the work that I do, she's a light worker, truly inside and out. And when we went to Wells Fargo, I guess I want to just share this piece with you, and the rest I'll try to write down everything, and then I'll get to like my point of what came through me last night. So we were able to walk over to Wells Fargo, which is the normal fence that was there. The one that they placed there. That's already there. It's like original part of the the land, like their property. They wanted a property fence around it so people can't just come and go unless they come through the gates and stuff. So that's normal. That made sense. So we walked through there, and my guides gave us very clear guidance on what to do to send love and to counteract some of the darker energies that I was feeling coming from the center. It was really very cool doing that, and it felt awesome. Well, I thought, well, okay, that's really cool. That's nice, you know. And I always do stuff, and I don't always know what's going to happen. I don't always recognize what's going on. So when I came back through the next night, they had put up another fence, like another gate had been placed around that original fence. And from what I've for the next time I went, there was another fence. So by the time it was all said and done, there was like three fences outside of the regular fence that was there. So it was like the DNC was trying to keep away everyone. Now, what's interesting is my guides made sure that I was there on the 22nd because they felt like it was very imperative that I be there. Well, I didn't know why, and I thought, well, this is beautiful, this is peaceful, I can easily do all what I need to do, and it's really funny because if I didn't go on the 22nd, we wouldn't have gotten as close as we did to Wells Fargo, and we wouldn't have been able to be in the energy, frequency, and vibration to the nearest part of that fence and as close as we could possibly have gotten to Wells Fargo without, IDs to get in as delegates or volunteers or members of the DNC. So how cool is that? So again, my guides don't always give me information until it's time, and then sometimes they don't even give me like, well, this is why, until I recognize, I look back and I'm like, oh wow, that's incredible. So that was really very cool. And the reason I'm telling you that little tidbit is because I get information. I don't always know what it means or why exactly or how things will happen, but they give me very clear guidance on stuff. So let's fast forward a little bit. Actually, I want to backtrack a little bit. So a couple months ago, I laid down for meditation and I heard very clearly Clinton, she committed treason. And, you know, everything that came out through the investigations and everything, anybody else would have been accused of treason and would have been punished for treason. So I got that message before they did anything. So that was probably back in May or even end of April. I can't remember because time, like I just said, I thought it was weeks since the DNC, and it really hasn't been. I slept a lot since I've been back. Um, they gave me that information, and that's truth. And so I believe there's something to that going forward. There's something to that for all of us to be aware of and to acknowledge. And, a couple months after I got that information, it came out that what she did would actually be considered treason by anyone else. And some people who did some of those things and to a lesser degree actually have been charged with treason and are in jail. Um, so again, I get little information, don't always know exactly what it all means. So I want to come forward from that message to what happened in Philadelphia, just a brief little touch that I want to share with all of you, because all of you are my members of my group, and all of you are light workers, and I honor and love all of you, and I I want to give you hope about our world because like I said this morning, I cried, and I was watching a couple videos about some of the protesting that happened in Philadelphia. It was not violent. It was actually love. But it brought tears to my eyes because we're not being heard, and we're not being treated as if we deserve the honor and respect that we do as American citizens, as humans, voicing who we are and our opinions. So when I was in Philadelphia, I experienced love on so many levels and in so many different ways with so many different people. It was incredible. You know, I never in my life experienced this with a political thing ever. And I was very active when I was in college and protesting stuff. So I was very much active, and I never experienced what I experienced there. And my sign, which many of you've seen, my banner was it's Love Revolution, Light Workers for Bernie. And a lot of people don't know what that means. So when I say light workers for Bernie, light workers encompass healers, shamans, mystics, meditators, peace lovers, earth angels, yoga instructors, energy workers, anybody who is shining their light on this planet, that feels a higher calling to shine their light on this planet. And many of us work in this field, but many of us don't. So when I went into Philadelphia, I didn't know what to expect, because I was like, yeah, I feel like we're meant to come together and unite, and I really wanted to bring that light component, the energy of love there, and so that's why the banner was, it's a love revolution. And I have to tell you, the people I met, the love is so profound and so beautiful. And you know, Bernie brought all of us together. Like, he kind of he stood in his power and shared his vision for America, his vision for us, our country, our earth. And it really wasn't just his vision. It's a vision that we've all had at different points in our life, and perhaps we've been cynical and said it wasn't going to happen. We didn't think it would go on, or whatever. Anyway, he gave a voice to us, and he gave us the ability to interact and come together. So it's not just his vision, it's all of our vision. And I felt like it was really true. It like awakened so many people. And what I experienced in Philadelphia was so much love. It really is a love revolution. It's not done out of violence, and you know there is anger, but it's not done out of anger. It's done out of love for one another, love for ourselves, and love for our country, love for our planet. And that is amazing to me, because I felt like I was on a spiritual retreat the entire time I was in Philadelphia. And who would ever think that? Protesters and politics, you don't really think that. And I feel like I have the best of both worlds in what I'm doing right now and what my mission is. And I don't know where this is taking me, where this is pulling me to, or where my future is going to look like, or what it's going to look like. But the best of both worlds to me is what I experienced in Philadelphia, and I loved it. I was on this natural high the whole time. And, you know, the high of being in love, in love with everybody, and in love with the energy, in love with the message, and in love with what I was standing up for and protesting about and fighting for. You know, I'm not fighting against anything. I'm fighting for my rights, and I'm fighting for everyone's rights, and for justice and truth and freedom and peace and balance, harmony and equality. Those are like things that we should have at this time on our planet. That is the energy of the divine feminine coming in. That is all about cooperation, coming together and uniting. And that is what we're doing here. And um, again, I don't know what the future is going to hold specifically for me and my journey. And I feel like this month is going to be a lot of questioning, a lot of thinking for myself, and a lot of journeying for me. And I already started off by sleeping a lot. I'm catching up on my Z's. And I've been asking for some guidance, and I've been asking for some hope for people, because I don't really know, what's next. And I've had a lot of, pushback from people who are not Bernie supporters, or were not in the Bernie revolution, or understanding this revolution. And a lot of them are older. Not everyone is, but a lot of people are cynical, and they've been shut down, and they don't actually see the potentials, and they forgot their voice. They've lost it along the way. And they've probably traded their voice in for other, things. So I'm still Bernie. I'm still Lightworkers for Bernie. I'm still believing there is a path to Bernie. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why that feels truth and right to me, but it does. And I know there's other Lightworkers out there that are getting the same information. There's other beings out there getting the same information, and understanding that this is the path forward. He brings the path forward. He brings all of us into that mix. All of us. Our job is to come together as a collective. When I say we become one, I don't mean we have to be all alike. What I mean is we share a value system. We share the morals, the ethics we want this world to have. And as a united group of people, does not mean we have to be the same. We don't have to be uniform. We don't have to fall in line. We actually have to stand in our truth, stand in our power. And as we do that, we are actually just like everyone else that we are connecting with. And I feel there is like a clear separation between old paradigm and new paradigm. And we are awakened to the new paradigm. And that's why you see the younger people in this. You know, I'm in my 40s, so I'm definitely not a millennial. But I have the same views, and you know, it's interesting. A lot of us that are older than the millennials and we're in this revolution and in this love revolution, there's so many of us because inside of us, we see the truth. We've been awakened to what our path is. We've been awakened to what doesn't work. And we have been so disconnected for so long from family of light. And we've been so disconnected and separate because a lot of people in our generations, and I don't say all again, but a lot of people have been shut down and created a very cynical life for themselves and disbelief. And you know, some of us have been like, hey, we're awake, and no, I believe everything is possible, change is here for a reason. And now I'm beginning to realize, wow, my family is everyone that's awake, everyone in this revolution. That's my family, that's who I connect with. Doesn't matter age, color, race, gender. It is who I connect with because we have the same values, the same beliefs, and we are all here to shine our light. So the people in Philadelphia, they may not have been doing the work I do or that a lot of us light workers do, but they are light workers in their way and in their right. And as I've always taught through my business that, you know, to be a healer and to be a light worker doesn't mean you have a business doing energy work. You have a business doing yoga. You have a business doing readings, but it means being a light worker in the moment, in the place that you are in, wherever you are. So you could be a sanitation engineer picking up trash, but your light can shine, and you will penetrate your light through everything that you touch and interact with, everyone you meet, everywhere you go. And that's exactly what I felt in Philadelphia is every one of us were light workers and we were standing in our power and in our light. And I'm so saddened by the media, the mainstream media, for not picking that up and not seeing that's who we are. So that's a huge big deal. um, the other thing that I want to say, so last evening I woke up in the middle of the night and I don't remember the details of everything, but I heard really clearly is not to give up on this path, that there is something coming in the next couple of months. My guys have been telling me, I've been channeling how July was such a transitional time. It was huge energy of transformation and change, and that we were going to experience all that, probably not see what that meant in the moments that we were doing it, but then it would start unfolding, you know, the next 1 to 3 months. And so we are in the 1 to 3 months of everything unfolding and showing up and appearing in our reality. So don't count Bernie out yet. Don't count your revolution out yet. And please stand in your power and your light. Trust in what you know to be true. Stay in your path of love. My guides are very clear that there's still a path. And I don't even know how that can exist. I have no idea because on a human level, it doesn't seem like it's possible. But there is a path. And we, as light workers, healers, shamans, mystics, all of us that are in this energy of light work and revolution, we have a job to do. And we've been awakened to it, we've been called to it, and we're meant to do it now. And so I want to emphasize to all of you that you're not done yet. You still have a ways to go. And in this group that I've created on Facebook, Lightworkers for Bernie, I wish that people will stay in that focus of their heart and of what they know to be true. And that means sharing ideas, values, and goals. I am not changing the name. I'm keeping it Lightworkers for Bernie for now. I'm not sure, you know, if it'll evolve to something different. I mean, later, um, I plan to keep this group going for a very long time. I don't think it's going to end with this presidential um, election. I I ask you to participate in our group in a loving way, in a respectful way. Honor, love, and respect everybody who may differ in your opinions. I am not going to close this group to people who have different opinions. However, if you have opinions, I ask that you not become abusive and harmful to each other because that is not our values. That is not who we are. And I ask that our focus and primary goal at this present is to maintain love, envision Bernie as our presidential candidate and our president, because I hear it again. My guys are saying it's not done yet. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, I also got the message that we as a group are revolutionaries. And one of the things I did receive in Philadelphia was the founding fathers. They've all reincarnated at this point. So their energy, some of them are delegates, and some of them are part of this revolution that are not delegates, Bernie delegates. They were actually, um, they're proactive actors inside this revolution. And a lot of people at the time that were not, considered the founding fathers of our country, but they lived during that time period were revolutionaries as well. And so all of us have a little bit of that inside of us. We have it because we're Americans and we've been either born in America or we have been living here so long that we are feeling that vibrational frequency. And when you live in a country, you have that geographic lineage of where you are living and where you've been. And it's funny, all this energy comes back to me. I live in Connecticut, one of the first colonies here. And I really believe it's not by accident. And as much as I resist being here at times because I feel like we're so stagnant and stuck sometimes in the Northeast. Not all people, but a lot of people here are very stuck and stagnant. And I feel like we're not meant to be stuck and stagnant. And it's not a shock that there's a lot of light workers this way. And it's not a shock that there's a lot of light workers in America. We are all here for a reason, and that's to create change. And it's the time. The time is now. And one of the things that I wrote about a week ago, I don't even know now, was I said, if not now, when? If I fall in line and vote for someone because of fear, then I am not living my truth because I don't live in fear. And I choose not to live that way. I choose not to face things that way. I don't agree with the two candidates that are up there as nominees from the two major parties. It doesn't, neither of them resonate with my soul, and neither of them um, live out of love. They live in fear, and they use that to incite more fear in the population, so that people will vote out of fear and reaction. Whereas my belief is to choose to stay in love and into balance. And I want all of you to kind of come back into that and remember that. And I know a lot of you have. I can see that because there's so many beautiful posts in our group. But I just wanted to share all of that with you today. And I also wanted to share, you know, my guides are saying not to give up. My guides are the galactic beings of light. Um, they're part of the Galactic Federation, and all eyes are on Earth at this time because we are achieving light over dark, and we are at the point where major change can happen, but we can't let this stop. So it might come from, voices that have never voiced their opinions before. It might come from voices that have never been heard. And actually, that is what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to be all our voices. It's not supposed to be people that have been out there saying the same things over and over. We're not in a place anymore where incremental changes are acceptable, or little adjustments to our future are acceptable, or keep killing our earth, or keep destroying people's lives. We can't do that anymore. It's well past that time. And, my guides were very clear with me last night to keep an open mind and to just trust that the path will be shown and we'll know exactly what we need to do. And I'm sorry for rambling because I like to ramble apparently. And if you are a client or student of mine, you probably agree. I I just want to say to all of you, thank you. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Thank you for your support and your love. And I know that some people are not going to like what I have to say, and some people are not going to agree with it, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I just want you to know we're all in this together, and that is a truth. That is such a truth. None of us are alone. Um, and we might appear like we're alone, and it might feel that way. And I know this past energy over the last weekend was very much about people feeling separate and alone and removed, because once you connect with family and you're not quite with them all the time, it's really difficult. And I say family, but I mean family of light. I don't necessarily mean your birth family. Um, there's this energy of shift and separation that came over the weekend, separation from those things that you no longer value, things that no longer serve you, and people that no longer serve your highest good. And it's okay. That's okay because the new will come in. The new paradigm is here. And the new paradigm is love. It's not fear, it's love. So I wish love to all of you and blessings, and please stay on this path with me. Thank you.